looks rugged. And so you're visually attracted to the vehicle. Well, you know, whatever your dream is, I'm going to tell you, be patient, save up, and strive for whatever that dream is. Don't settle. Don't settle. In the vehicle realm, do not settle. Here's why. And I know there's people out there like, you know, you love what you got, or you whatever. Yes, there's a difference between appreciating what you got and being thankful for what you got and settling. It's okay to be thankful and appreciative of what you've got, but always keep that dream and that goal of what you truly want, and work toward that, and don't stop till you get it. Because I am actually driving in my dream car, and I never would have thought that I would ever own one of these. Like, it was never on the radar because of what I'm earning, you know, in my career and working toward and saving for, and it was just never on the radar because to me it was unattainable unless I had several streams of income, which I do not have at the moment. But I now am in possession of it. Some of you may guess it by my hat. I now have a Shelby GT500. It's not a new one, but this one was actually a collector had it and decided to offload it from its collection, and I was able to purchase it from the dealership that acquired it off of the collector, and it's got low mileage. It looks almost brand new. And for the longest time, you know, I liked Corvettes. You know, I was a Corvette guy because I liked the way they handle. I like the way they drive. They're America's supercar, sports car. You know, they have all of that pedigree to them. But I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Mustang, but more so this because I am a diehard Carroll Shelby fan. Carroll Shelby was able to do in the automotive industry. If you don't know who Carroll Shelby is and who he was and anything about him beyond Shelby Mustangs, go read up on him. He done a lot in the automotive industry for the legacy and of the automotive world. But so I am literally humbled and honored to be able to even own one of these. But the reason I'm saying that is now that I'm driving this and have it, there's no way I could drive a EcoBoost Mustang or a 6-cylinder Mustang or even a GT, because granted, GTs, you can make them super quick and for the most part reliable, as long as you're not out here doing pulls every other day. But when you talk about overall value, go for the Gusto. Even if it's Hellcat, even if your dream is a Dodge Hellcat, get the Hellcat. Don't get a Scat Pack and try to modify it, because what's going to happen is this. And this is the whole reason I'm making this video. This is the meat and potatoes here. Okay, let's just say you go buy you a V6 Charger or V6 Mustang because that's what you can afford now. And you say, well, I can modify this thing as you go along. 06 Shelby, if your end game is that, do not modify your vehicle. Just save that money and put it with the rest of your savings and keep working toward the Gusto, because you're going to spend more money and lose more money trying to climb rungs in a ladder, because you're going to waste money on modifications that you're not going to get back dollar for dollar. You're actually going to devalue the vehicle that you're driving, because you go to trade in a modified car, they're not going to give you trade-in value based on the value of your car plus your modifications. They're just not going to do that. They're actually going to offer you less than stock value, and then they're going to turn around and sell it on their lot for more because it's modified. It's the crooked dealership game. There's that. But you know, you're going to lose so much money because you might get my math brain is churning. You might get 1/10 of the value of the modifications that you put into it back. So let me explain. So let's just say you're driving around an XXT or a V6, the V6 version of whatever you got. Okay, now you done spent $400 on an air intake. You done spent $1,000 on a custom exhaust. Then you've done put hitters. You know, you spent all this money. You spend $3,000-$4,000. Oh, custom wheels and tires. So now you put $6,000-$7,000 worth of modifications on a V6 over what you bought it for, and then you go to trade it in to upgrade. Well, they're only going to give you, let's just say the trade-in value is 10 grand. Well, you might get 11. So therefore, you got $1,000 back out of the $7,000 worth of modifications you've put onto this vehicle. Now, I'll even give you one and say, you know what, maybe you got a big circle of friends or a big circle of car enthusiast buddies, and maybe you can sell some of those mods and strip yours back to stock before you trade it in. Well, think about how much time that it's going to take you to sell those parts, and two, how much, because nobody's going to give you buy a $400 cold air intake brand new, you're not getting $400 for it used. I mean, I hate to state the obvious, but you know, look at the money that you've lost. All right, so now you done put $7 grand in modifications in this car. Let's say you're not trading it in. That's $7 grand. That could have put you from a stock. Well, you know, $7 grand is the difference between an EcoBoost and a GT. Just buy the GT instead of modifying the EcoBoost, right? Well, so you know, this whole settling in between is costly, right? In the grand scheme of things, it's very costly to settle in between what you really want. And you know, the writers and the blogists and the vloggers and the magazine writers are all going to give you pros to certain vehicles, right? Well, yeah, an EcoBoost Mustang is going to be lighter on the front end because it don't have as heavy of an engine. But the sound of it is atrocious. It sounds god-awful. The Mustang EcoBoost is the only car that I've ever heard that sounds better stock than it does modified. I mean, just leave it quiet. Leave it quiet. But I don't want to get off on that rant. But hopefully you're getting what I'm trying to say. Like, don't waste money trying to climb rungs on a ladder when it comes to the vehicles. Hold off. Be patient, because you'll be rewarded later whenever you finally are able to get that a dream car for me, and I got it at such a good deal that it was affordable, and it's like having a new one, you know, because it's not been used and abused and everything, and the mileage on this was just enough to show that it had been driven and it wasn't dried out, worn out, and I didn't have to rebuild the car to be able to drive it, you know. Some people go crazy over these 2,000 and 3,000 mile 30-year-old cream puffs that just leak like a sieve whenever they go to try to enjoy it because it's been sitting too long before you own it, and because you're going to be a different owner to that car than the previous one was. Maybe that previous one had the finances to just let a vehicle sit around and collect dust for years on end, and you know, it was nothing for them to set it there. Me, I like to drive them, and a matter of fact, Carroll Shelby, even to quote the great man, said these vehicles are built to be driven. They're meant to be driven and enjoy it, not sitting in a garage. So, you know, I'm going to enjoy mine, but in a way, these are an investment. You know, if I go to ever decide to sell this, which I won't, and I have reasons for that, I won't. This will be mine forever until I pass on from this world. But if I was to ever sell it, it's going to hold its value. It's not going to depreciate. And I know Hellcats have depreciated because of the image that they've gotten, but I still think that if you hold on to it and let this wave of street takeover crowd and hooligans subside 10, 15 years, 10, 15, 20 years from now, them Hellcats will be valuable. You won't lose money, but if you get scared and sell, or I know maybe a lot of people are selling them because they're tired of the thefts, which that's understandable too. I would almost be willing to say just invest in securing it. You know, invest in better home security, or security for whenever you park it, if you park at places, to prevent the thefts. But I understand too, insurance rates are high because of that, so that may influence you to part with the vehicle sooner than expected. I understand all that too, but I do think those long term, the ones that's not been blown up 10,000 times, stolen 50 times, all that stuff, the ones that have actually been kept, maintained, modest driving mileage, I think those will hold their value. I really do, and increase in value, and be, you know, that they could very well be the next down the road years, you know, they could be the next Shelby GT 500s from the 60s, you know, that fetching near $1 million at Barrett-Jackson, you know, because they were a revolution of modern technology, as far as V8s and horsepower and all that. But anyway, I hope you understand the point of the video, and stay tuned, and I'll be making some more content. I'll make some more Shelby content when I'm not driving. Give you a tour of the girl, and we'll see you next time.